Okay, so I'm starting here. This is part 4 of the Massiah family history. And this church, I went to it for a pilgrimage. It's called the Blumenfield Church, I think. And it's in Saskatchewan, which is kind of a province in Canada that's like the middle of Canada in the prairies. So in this episode, I'm going to go over some of the actual handwritten family trees. I also found some of my pictures when I was a little kid. And then I'm going to go over something called True Lines in Ancestry.com, which is like a direct line through DNA. And then I'm going to explain what that is. And I'm going to talk about old records. I think in like the first episode, I talked about finding a bunch of old records that misspelled names and things like that. And that's why I thought that, the name Massiah was changed from Messiah to Massiah. Okay, so like I said, I live in Canada. And I've traveled all over the place, all over the world and everything, but I really started to try to find information about my family after I talked to these people who live in like Sweden and like the Netherlands who were doing research about their family when I lived in that place in Saskatchewan. This is a little bit fuzzy, but I found this family tree on like a Facebook page that is dedicated to the people from the Massiah family from the Caribbean. And so that was like the first time I saw the Massiah family crest for like the Caribbean, and it's actually different from the crest that I found by Googling it, the one from Scotland. So going back to some pictures of me as a little kid, that's me. Like I said, I still haven't found that one picture of myself and two of my other sisters while we're dressed up in kilts and stuff like that for like a Christmas party or something like that. I'm not sure, but we're in Canada when we took those pictures. That's me again, just a little bit older. That's like my going away party, I think. Let's see, where am I? There I am. That's me right there. And that was when I was like leaving my high school in Japan. And this one's when I was leaving my high school in Canada. And yeah, I feel like I looked really, really old here. Like I didn't look like a normal high school student. I don't know, do you guys wear robes like this when you're in high school? So I'm super grateful to one of my relatives. I think that she lives in the United States, but I've reached out to her on Ancestry.com, and then I found a whole bunch of documents on Google that she made a bunch of different branches of our family, and she listed our family trees. And I thought, like, look at this. And I was able to match people on my actual family tree to this tree, which kind of reinforced my ability to see that, yes, it is correct on Ancestry.com. So there's a couple different ways to double check stuff on Ancestry.com. If you scroll to the bottom of the page there, you'll see there's like links to newspaper sites, military record sites. I think one's like Family Tree Search or something like that. I think that's what this one is. But I went on to that one and I just started like searching for people's names and birthdays and things like that. And I found actual records. So here there's a few from like Benjamin Massiah, I think, and Christopher Massiah and stuff like that. And so in one of the other episodes I talked about finding the actual record. So they're all written out, like marriage records or like entrance into the country and stuff like that. They're written out like that. So I think that maybe somebody who was like registering a wedding or something like that, or a marriage, they might have just spelt the name wrong, and that's why it got in official records spelt the wrong way. Sometimes they spell it correctly on here, but then it's translated to print and it's the wrong kind of spelling. That's another example just of the record from Antigua and Barbuda, and it's like a marriage record, right? So if you don't read cursive, it'd be a little bit hard for you to understand what it says. But yeah, if you can read cursive, it's no problem. You can see what that is. And it says usually the names of the witnesses, who are usually their parents or their brothers or sisters and stuff. And it says who's getting married. It says their full name, the date, everything. So you can easily add information into Ancestry.com with that. So currently this is what my expanded family tree looks like. I'm actually in the middle on the bottom there. That's last row is like my parents in the middle, and then all of their siblings on the left and the right, and my grandparents and so on. And you can't really see from here, but up until the fifth generation, that is where there's like a little kind of blue circle on the side with a plus, and it's called true lines. And it's where like your DNA and kind of records are corroborated by ancestry.com, so that you can see who is truly your ancestor and like if the facts are correct and stuff, right? So if you zoom into it, you'll be able to see it a little bit better. But sometimes when you see like the tree and it's in like a horizontal one compared to a vertical one, it's easier to see where it is or where it's going. It only goes up to, I think, the fifth generation. So like these people up there are actually my blood relatives, but this only goes up to like 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and then it stops up there. So this is what I mean when you have like a horizontal tree, and you can see right next to each name there's like a little kind of tick or like blue tick. That's the logo for True Lines, and you can see it moves on to the next generation, the next generation. These ones are actually collapsed. There's a person in it, but I haven't like expanded it all the way, just so you can see, for example, how where it leads to and stuff. You can zoom in, I guess, on this video and see that if you really wanted to. Okay, so here it kind of explains what true lines are. So the true lines is basically how they link family trees in Ancestry.com. They're linked by your DNA results to help you visualize how you might be related to your DNA match. It finds people in your tree who are also in your match's trees, and it draws lines to potential ancestors, right? And it's called Through Lines. Sorry, I was saying True Lines that whole time. Through Lines. So if you click on a little logo too, it'll tell a little story when you go to like the main page of your ancestor, and it goes all the way back to you. It tells you, how you're linked to each other. And actually it says under each picture, this person's your grandfather or your great grandfather, your 4 times grandfather, or whatever. Anyhow, so that's what I've learned so far about the Massiah family and kind of how I found information on the Massiah family. Like I said in the last video, we found family members from Scotland, quite a few of them, but basically there's people from Portugal, France, England, Scotland, Ireland, Canada, the US, just everywhere. And it seems like we're all linked together through DNA. And even places like Germany, Germany and like Israel or Palestine as well. So I hope you're very entertained by this. I will do a new video in maybe like 4 or 5 days again.